That's right. President Trump is saying that he's now in the business of nation building. This is coming just days after the historic capture of former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. And President Trump now laying out his plans for the future of Venezuela, saying that he wants the U.S. to go into the country and fix its oil infrastructure and then eventually to have elections. But that in order to do that, President Trump says that the U.S. needs, quote, total access to the country in order to rebuild. And his message isn't just for Venezuela. Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying that the Trump administration will not allow any country in the Western Hemisphere, any neighbor of the U.S., to destabilize the entire region by allowing for the infiltration of American enemies. And both the Secretary of State and President Trump predicting Cuba's communist regime is on the verge of collapse after the capture of Maduro. Take a look.
Cuba is ready to fall.
Yes.
President Trump saying military action in Cuba won't be necessary.
Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it.
While threatening drug traffickers in Colombia and Mexico.
Now, we have a very sick neighbor. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long. And by the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong.
Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba have denounced the U.S. airstrikes in Caracas that led to Maduro's capture. The Chinese Communist Party also condemned the strike, which happened just hours after Maduro met with CCP leader Xi Jinping's envoy in Caracas, the two reaffirming their strategic partnership. President Trump, meanwhile, touting Maduro's capture as an issue of national security, warning other Western countries that he won't allow America's neighbors to be used as proxies for U.S. adversaries.
Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio responding to Democrats who say Maduro's capture was all about the U.S. tapping into Venezuela's oil reserves.
We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States.
China is Venezuela's main oil buyer, accounting for 80% of Venezuela's oil exports.
Why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Meanwhile, a story a bit closer to home. A man is now in custody after property damage at Vice President J.D. Vance's Cincinnati home. The vice president posting to X saying that he's grateful to the Secret Service and the Cincinnati police for their quick response, but that thankfully he and his family were already back in Washington, D.C., and so everyone was safe.